and I'm doing my culture project on Singapore. And yeah, let's get started. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be starting off with government. For government, the people vote for the representatives in the parliament, meaning they have a parliamentary republic. And they have three branches: the legislature of parliament, the executive, and the judiciary. The parliament makes the laws. The executive, like the cabinet ministers and the office holders, they administer the law, and the judiciary branch has the court system. They only have one house, and the members of the parliament, they're voted in like general elections, and the leader of the political party that has like the majority of the seats in the parliament, the president will ask that person to become the prime minister. Okay, now we're going to be moving on to history. Singapore gained independence on June 3rd of 1959. They gained independence from the British. Their greatest humiliation in history of Singapore was during World War II. The Japanese defeated the enormous Singapore army in 1942 because they thought the Japanese would come from the sea, from the south, but they ended up coming from the northwest, and the soldiers were too thinly spread out and were defeated. Some other facts for history are: in 1826, the British had settled in Singapore. Suez Canal opens, that's where trade is, and it started booming in 1869. In 1922, Singapore becomes the main British naval base in East Asia. In 1941, Japan bombs Singapore. 1942, Singapore falls to the Japan for 3 years. And in 1945, Japan is defeated. Singapore is under British military administration. Now we're going to be moving on to arts. Some famous painters in Singapore are Cheong Soo Phien, Chen Wen Xing, and then Chua Ek Ka. Three famous authors are Pao Kun Kuo, Harish Sharma, Leslie Charteris. Three famous songwriters are J.J. Lin, Sin Hui, and Eric Moo. They have a traditional dance in Singapore called the Dragon Dance. It dates back to over 2,000 years ago, and it symbolizes Chinese tradition of worshipping dragons. Dragons were believed to have control over the water, rain, hurricanes, and floods. The dragons represent power, strength, and good luck. They do the dance because they believed it drove away evil spirits. They thought it brought good luck and blessing for the community. Now we're going to be moving on to language. Our official language is Mandarin, English, Malay, and Tamil. They have four. Mandarin is 36.3%, English is 29.8%, Malay is 11.9%, Hokkien is 8.1%, Cantonese is 4.1%, Tamil is 3.2%, Tetual is 3.2%, other Indian languages are 1.2%, and some Chinese dialects is 1.9%. Singapore has an English dialect called Singlish. Now we're going to be moving on to religion. Buddhist is 33.9%, Muslim is 14.3%, Taoist is 11.3%, Catholic is 7.1%, Hindu is 5.2%, other Christian is 11%, other is 0.7%, and none is 16.4%. Now we're going to be moving on to social groups. So their population is 5.607 million people. Their female population is 50.6% and male is 50.4%. 0 to 14 years old is 12.82%. 15 to 24 is 16.56%. 25 to 54 is 50.53%. 55 to 64 is 10.46%. And 65 above, a senior citizen, is 9.63%. The average person in Singapore is usually going to live for 85 years. For a male, it's 82 years, and for female, it is 88. Some ethnic groups, Chinese is 74.3%, Malay is 13.4%, Indian is 9.1%, and other is 3.2%. Now we're going to be moving on to Singapore's economy. Their GDP per capita is $52,960.07 in US dollars. Their total value of exports is $351.2 billion. Their main exports are commodities, machinery and equipment, and electronics, consumer goods, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, mineral fuels / fossil fuels. They are the 14th largest exporter in the world and the 15th largest importer in the world. They are a major waterway where ships have to go through for exports and imports. Their export partners are Hong Kong, Malaysia, USA, Indonesia, China, and Japan. Now I'm going to be moving on to daily life in Singapore. They have a lot of skyscrapers in Singapore. They have Chinese shop houses, Malay mosques, Hindu temples, and shopping malls. Singapore is not really polluted, it is clean, and it's nicknamed the Garden City. In Singapore, they have an excellent transportation system, so you don't really always need a car, because they have a lot of subways, and taxis and buses and things. Some of that food that you may find is durian, it's a spiky fruit, frog porridge, kaya toast, it's breakfast toast from coconut, eggs, and sugar plus soy sauce. For clothing, they'll usually just wear what we wear on a daily basis, but they also have some traditional clothing from the past that they used to wear. 85% live in public housing, and they also have housing estates. They have room flats, so like a 2-room flat is not that much money, but is pretty small. A 3-room flat is the same, but it's a little bigger. Generation flats, where it's multi-generational housing, so more family can live in it. A wealthy person in Singapore will be living in a DBSS flat. And yeah. When you forget to do your outro, and it's the night before you're supposed to present. Thanks for watching my culture project.